things occur. The first thing that occurs is for the people
Secretary Burwell, we know what will occur. We all know this. The question is, what will the administration do? Will they stand up with one piece of paper and say, my way or the highway, or will they work with Congress to address the situation?
So the problem that occurs if the court decides against us is that they have made a decision that the subsidy
You're not going to answer the question, are you?
Congressman Paul Ryan, chairman of the Ways and Means Committee, trying to get some answers on Obamacare from the Secretary of Health and Human Services, Sylvia Burwell. Welcome back to Newsmax Prime. I'm J.D. Hayworth alongside Miranda Codd. Miranda, it seems we're just hours, maybe days away from a major Supreme Court decision on the legality of these Obamacare subsidies.
And there is still no Plan B in place. And if the Supreme Court votes against subsidies, about 6 million people may have to fend for themselves.
Joining us now, Newsmax Deputy Health Editor Nick Tate. Nick is also the co-author of Da Vinci's Baby Boomer Survival Guide. Nick, it's great to have you. And if the court rules against Obamacare, when would these subsidies disappear?
Well, the likelihood is if the Supreme Court strikes them down, the court will give a grace period to Congress and the White House to come up with a fix. But as Paul Ryan, put the question there to the HHS Secretary, what will then happen? I think the truth is that there's going to be an enormous amount of pressure on this White House to come up with an alternative. The president is not going to want to see his signature achievement, as he describes it, go away. But at the same time, there's pressure on Republicans, too, because 24 of the states that would be most affected by the strike down in these subsidies have Republican governors, and in 22 of the 24 states where Senate seats are up, they include those states as well. So the likelihood is, I think, we're going to see at least the stage be set for another round of debates on health care reform.
And there are several plans out there right now.
There are. One of the things that the Democrats continue to say is that the Republicans don't have an alternative, but that's simply not true. The Formal Care Act that was introduced last year as an alternative to Obamacare maintains many of the things that are in the law that people like, including a provision for subsidies, allowing people who have pre-existing conditions to stay on their health care, and other provisions that polls show people like. At the same time, it strikes down those things that a lot of people don't like the individual mandate, the employer mandate, that even some left-leaning groups say is not going to help add to the number of people who have insurance and may, in fact, kill the number of people, reduce the number of people who have insurance. So I think that we're going to see some additional debate. The Supreme Court decision is going to be that milestone that'll drive that, though.
At the very least, Speaker Newt Gingrich, who appeared on this program, I should say the former speaker, was here last week, and he said, look, there needs to be some sort of plan in place for people on chemotherapy, for people who have acute care needs. And the Republicans have sponsored and have that kind of legislation at the ready if this is struck down, but would the president really just sit back and not sign something?
Historically, that's been his position. He has said he will not sign any law that would take away aspects of Obamacare. There have been some minor tweaks that both House and Senate Republicans and Democrats have approved that the president has signed, but it remains to be seen whether he would continue to use the political rhetoric that says no change, my way or the highway, or whether there will be the means of negotiation. But let's not forget, I mean, at the bottom of this whole debate, we can talk about money, we can talk about politics, we can talk about policy. We're really talking about something very important, and that is Americans' health. A lot of folks have insurance because they need it, because they're sick and they need care. But I think there's incredible pressure and a great imperative for Congress and the White House to work on this.
Now, I know you said you don't want to talk about money, but we have to, because there's talk that insurance rates are going to be doubling for those who are on Obamacare's Silver plan.
That's right.
Doubling?
Well,
double digits,
double-digit increases. What we're seeing is that the insurance companies have come out with their proposed increases in those states where Obamacare exchanges sell these health plans, and we're seeing rates that are double-digit rises that they're looking for. And in some states, New Mexico, they're looking at 52% premium increases. Wow. So what that means is, regardless of whether the Supreme Court strikes down these subsidies or not, we're looking at larger costs for health insurance in the years ahead. Now, a lot of it we can lay at the foot of Obamacare because the insurance companies are saying we now have 2 full years of data to base our numbers on, and their insurance rates are no longer guesses, but they're what they think they need to pay for the health care of people that are covered under these plans.
And to think this was named the Affordable Care Act.
Right. Well, you know, the president, you may recall, the president initially said, I believe he was a candidate for president at the time, that this law would actually reduce the deficit, and it would result in about $2,500 in savings in the pocket of the average American household. Well, that has proven to be one of the things that is not true, but was used to kind of sell this law. I do think the time has come, though, for stepping back and saying, look, we have 5 years. We've had 5 years of this Obamacare experiment. What works? What doesn't? Let's fix what does not.
Let's amend some things. Got it.
That's right.
All right. Nick Tate, Miranda Kahn, thanks to you both. And you can learn how to survive the baby boomer financial crisis with the newly released book, Da Vinci's Baby Boomer Survival Guide. Our good friend Nick Tate had a part to play in that. Here's where you go to get more info. Babyboomers711.com. Babyboomers711.com. We'd love to get your comments. You can send them to us via email, Facebook, and Twitter. And Newsmax Prime will continue right after this.